Oh, back at it again with Apex Seals and Tyre, Squeels, episode 5. Cheers for listening. This is one of those, what is it?
Good old
280Z?
Nissan.
It's a 280Z, and it's got, like, at the top there, it has got the 210 Skyline taillights. And Laurel taillights, I think, on the bottom one.
That's pretty hot, to be honest.
I love how, like, it's sunk in at the back, because there's no back seat.
Yeah.
And how, I like that. Like, they made some for the CRX because the CRX was supposed to be mid-mounted engine.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a kit for that because when I was looking at doing the Black Widow kit and I was going to put that on it before I blew it up.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not going to dig out the shit now, but because I'm really not supposed to show anyone here, but I know a place where there's 7 of these rusting in a paddock and they are not salvageable. And when I say that, not salvageable by American standards, because we can fix some of the shit that America says that's not fixable, but these are fucked. It's like, why didn't you just like build 2 of them, get them on the road and be like, hey, I've got parts if you ever need them. I just about cried. Like, no shit. I'll show you the pictures one day. I just about cried. You don't hear it. I'm dying on the inside.
Yeah. That's really sad. I mean, once it becomes worth enough, then maybe it's worth it.
Yeah, like this is
like, as long as it's just like literally like the shape of it, then you'll be able to just like weld a new one around the shape.
I've thought about that, like fiberglassing straight over the rust. It's I don't know about New Zealand standards with that, how much we can get away with it. Certainly not with Japanese cars, but I suppose if you put the time and effort, it'd be a lot of money.
Yeah.
But is it going to pay off? I mean, these used to be dirt fucking cheap, but you don't see them. I saw one guy hooning around my old job in one of these, and I never heard it till like my last week there, and he please tell me it's one of those Turbo 6s in there.
Hey.
I don't like the arse end of these 280s. The front is pretty much like a 240, 260, but I don't mind the one with the 210, Skyline 210.
The top one's definitely better.
I don't know. It just seems very much like an American car to me, like the back end, but it's not, like the fronts.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it?
I turned down similar mags to that one up top years ago. They weren't dished or anything.
I think those kind of wheels, only work on older cars.
They work. Dare I say they're popular now? This is back in the late 90s, and I looked. Yeah, before I was disgustingly interrupted there. Yeah, in the late 90s, I turned them down. I wasn't into cars or anything, but now I think about it, they probably would have got stolen when my car got stolen at the time.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, back then I just thought, they're ugly.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan. I think it's one of those things. It's like, if you find the right thing, then it's fine. But
different strokes, different folks. Someone's bound to be out there like, you don't know, they're the shit, they're best on blah, blah, blah. Good for you, mate. This is the channel where we talk about what we like. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's why we take the piss out of Jay-Z fanboys. Yeah. I love this look.
So good.
I've done it all on my GTA cars, like the 2-tone, and I love how the dish, painting the inside of the dish like that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I would hate cleaning it, but that's something I might be looking at in the future.
God, the low profile on those tires though.
Damn.
Is that even any Does that have air? Like, is it just rubber?
They're straight, thick rubber, so you don't have to worry about replacing them in a hurry. They're like forklift tires.
Yeah.
Now this motorbike?
Interesting.
It's a BMW, so clearly the indicators are not necessary here.
Of course.
The front looks like a Bugatti. But I don't know. I mean, it looks really awkward to drive.
It probably has like 2 grills, like one on the other side, right? That's kind of like the BMW
I didn't notice
thing,
that. Yeah. Or 2 big nostrils like a fish.
Yeah, what the Is there like... I mean, the only way I can see that being useful is if there's like a mirror in the quote-unquote cockpit that like shines forward.
Like, I hope it moves or something like that, because your face there like that must be really awkward. I hope it's like a Bonneville sand flats, time attack sort of thing, because that would be really unpractical.
Yeah, it would be. Wait, how the fuck do you even turn?
It looks like a big bubble. Like, you see where the badge is, it kind of looks like that's the longest point to the side.
Yeah.
But he'd probably have to do the big, sweeping 18-wheeler type of turning.
Yeah, it must be for some kind of drag racing or something,
It kind of looks cool, but at the same time... Now, this is not a Z car, this is...
Oh?
An MG.
Oh? I was kind of like, I guess it's a 911 then. An MG.
I'm pretty sure this is an MG. Where does it say something about MG that makes me think it's MG? Oh, because in the hashtags, MG.
I mean, there's definitely an MG in the background, right?
It's got good potential. I mean, it looks like a Z car. That's where the Japanese got the form off, I guess. But it actually looks kind of cool, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. You never really see many MG cars around anymore, do you?
You see the old ones, like, not our generation, but, like, probably my old man. He used to have a few of these. He used to wheel and deal on these sorts of cars out on the farm.
God, I saw like a new one the other day.
Yeah.
It was like, I was like, oh, that's a Corolla, and it drives past, and it's an MG, and I'm like, what the
all the stylings are getting pretty similar now. Eventually they'll just be like blobs with tyres or something. Electric-powered blobs.
Yeah.
Because we were parked behind a Skoda, and the missus is like, oh, that's looking really Skoda. I'm like, oh.
Hey.
But I kind of like the tail lights on some of their wagons, but that's as far as I like about Skodas.
Yeah, yeah.
But I see a lot of potential in that wee MG. I mean, selling it might be a bit of a pain in the ass here in New Zealand, for example, but I think there's plenty of potential on something with body lines like that. It's got a similar hump to like that BMW there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny with the MGs. I don't think they have very good reputations.
I think a lot of it for us in New Zealand, that's all we had was like European cars, like back in the sort of 60s and 70s before Japanese sort of started coming in in the 70s.
But even like the like late 90s MG convertibles that you can buy, they go for dirt cheap, and they're like rear engine, rear wheel drive. I
bought like turbos off Rovers and that.
Yeah.
Old man's got a Jag, probably 2011. He went down to $2,000. It needs repairs. $2,000 and no one's touching it. He just wants it gone.
God.
Granted, it needs repairs, but you can't get rid of it.
That's crazy. Yeah.
You might as well do an insurance job. I mean, no, we can't say that's illegal. The European cars here, again, it's kind of like how Hondas are not sort of super popular in North Island, South Island prices. It's one of those things. I mean, I would never have touched the Jag in the first place, but he needed a car and it was quote-unquote cheap.
Yeah.
But now he's selling it for next to nothing. Fucking dump it.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? Is a Laurel? Salesman slaps the roof headlining sags. Good luck finding car-specific parts. Just wait for an S chassis to wreck and make it work.
God, yeah.
Yeah, I want to be different, but there's no parts in my car. That's the only thing I hate about Colt cars is, like, it's always hard to get parts. Or, like, whenever you click on, like, something overseas and it goes to Universal Parts, like, oh, really? More work? I've got to pay more money for more work, whereas if I had a Colt car, it'll bolt straight on.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of manufacturers have actually kind of, started doing more manufacturing of old parts.
Yeah.
Like, I think they started building the RB again. Like one of the slightly newer ones, to be fair, but I mean...
Yeah. What I miss is the 90s Toyotas and Nissans that everything was virtually interchangeable.
Yeah.
So even if it wasn't exact, an easy upgrade would just be, flog it off the higher powered engine.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're even rebuilding like 4Age and JZ parts and stuff.
Yeah. The problem with the way, like, I don't want to get political here, but just for a sec, how like they said, we want New Zealand to be, electric car by whenever the fuck it was. You know, so if you're going from your AAA batteries to your D-cell batteries, would be the new upgrade.
Yeah.
I've actually like screenshotted a whole lot of the article. I didn't read it, but I just wish they would fuck off in the sense that, you know, unless you're in the automotive industry, don't make rules for automotive stuff. You know, if you're an insurance assessor, you shouldn't be an insurance assessor unless you are a panel beater beforehand. You know, you shouldn't be in the top dog position unless you've done the groundwork.
Yeah, or at least, you know, grow an understanding of it.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to be in the industry somewhere to know what you're talking about. Agreed, 100% there.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's by that girl. Dun-dun-dun. I don't get that. Just looking at the user.
Just some random name, I guess.
No, I'm not going to. I was going to take the piss out of vegans with it today, but no one would have understood the joke.
Oh, yeah. God, vegans.
Hang on, now we're getting into the other channel. This is what it was about before the internet. The boys, the only thing they had wrong was there was no internet, so if something went wrong, they didn't know what to do.
Oh, the boys. Yeah.
See, what my favourite one is like the guy underneath the car looks like Vivian from The Young Ones.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you don't know what that is? Oh, for generation gap, I tell you.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Having fun. I mean, yeah, that's a way to crane out.
It's an adult swing set. You can see the guy at the front on the bumper there is just hanging off it.
God, that's the thing. Something will go wrong.
I was going to say, the guy lying on the ground, he should be looking up in case it falls off.
Yeah.
Jesus, splat. Old man, he had a KE30. Well, Mum had the KE30.
Oh, yeah.
And she said that Dad put in 5 different engines because he kept blowing them up, towing like heavy shit with he like went from a 3K through a 4K to a 5K engine.
Oh, God. Wow.
I know it's nothing to do with this image, but, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Back then when you could just about pick up a 5K by yourself and lift it out.
Yeah, that's crazy, eh? Some of those engines look fucking small. Like, you know, from that second-gen Honda Civic. It's like...
Oh, yeah.
You'd be like, man, I could pull that out with one hand. You
look at some of, like, the 90s Honda engines, and someone said to me, like a mechanic I work with, ex-mechanic, he said they're literally like Lego blocks. Now, I kind of believe that. It looks like you could literally ping off the head, ping off the centre section, then there's gearbox, boom, you just lift it, 3 lifts, boom, 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 put it together.
Yeah.
He had, like the Prelude that Nelson wrecked, he was the first or second guy in New Zealand to do the conversion he was doing.
Oh, yeah?
And, like, he pretty much knew what he was doing. And I asked him, you know, how difficult is it to swap gearboxes with, the top part, the block and the engine. Now, don't quote me 100% on this because it's a few years ago now. But he pretty much said it's like a plate, and all you have to do is just machine all the holes to line up for the water jets and the oil jets and shit to work.
Oh, okay.
You know, there's something I would have liked to have like read up about, but I haven't seen that much information on, you know, doing things like that.
Yeah.
But I think what he was doing was putting like a VTEC into like a non-VTEC, and it was like first or second person in New Zealand to have done it. So you had to find certain parts. And I said to him, you'll get sick of that. You'll buy a pair of cams. Oh, you know, I'm 50-something years old. Oh, I won't. Yeah, you will. You're getting more power. You'll want more power. You'll get another set of cams and a VTEC controller and shit like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
at some point, it's diminishing returns, eh? It's like...
Oh, you never make the money
like
back.
$1,000 to get like 5 horsepower. You're like...
Well, that's it. That's it. I won't spend money on horsepower unless I'm making horsepower.
Yeah.
Like... Oh... Like, everyone like, oh, chuck a K&N pod filter on there. It's like, it doesn't do shit without the exhaust. It's no point. You're not making any power. I had an argument in the insurance building about that. Oh, you can have the exhaust but not the air filter. Well, then what the is the point in having one and not the other? It's pointless. What a waste of money. Oh, but that's our policy, blah, 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 blah.